Hi everyone, I'm Candy from Susan's family. Today I'm going to show you a new design. Flower window book cover, White Magnolia edition. This product is divided into several parts: the book cover, the white magnolia flower, and the bookmark with a palace emblem. Start by making the book cover. Then crochet and assemble the white magnolia, attaching it to its corresponding position. Finally, make the bookmark and attach it to the book cover. Lastly, sew on the palace emblem. This product comes in multiple dimensions. The making method is the same, only the number of stitches and row numbers are different. Below, I will demonstrate using the smallest dimension as an example. First, let's learn how to make the book cover. It is divided into the main part, the eave, crocheting the edging, and the side fabric pieces. Follow the sequence to make it. Start by learning the main part. It's divided into Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. The main part uses a foundation chain to cast on. Crochet back and forth upwards for each section. You'll need to leave space for a flower window shape in the middle. Several crochet stitches will be applicated, so I won't list them all here. Please watch the demonstration. Take out the corresponding yarn. I'll demonstrate with cotton yarn here. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Start by tying a slip knot first. Hold the yarn with left hand. Hold the hook with right hand. Insert the hook into the loop of the slip knot. Adjust the size of the loop. Then, according to the chart for your size, crochet the corresponding number of chain stitches. Pay attention not to make the chains too tight. Make them slightly looser. This will be more convenient for inserting the hook in the first row later. After completing the starting chain, move on to the first row. Read the chart from right to left. Make 3 chains to start. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet stitch. Then start from the 5th stitch from the end. Pick up 1 strand on the top of each chain and work double crochets. Work 1 double crochet for each stitch. This completes the first row. We will take the side with clearer texture as the right side of the piece. That is, the side where the yarn tail of the starting chain is on your left hand. Now move on to the second row. Read the chart from left to right. Work 1 chain as the turning chain for single crochet. The turning chain for single crochet does not count as a stitch. Turn the work. Work 1 single crochet into the double crochet stitch below. Pay attention, since the piece has been turned over, the stitch corresponds to the top left position. Then pick up stitches, and work single crochets, 1 stitch for each stitch. Continue all the way down until the end of the row. For the last stitch, pick up the 2 strands of the 3rd chain from the previous row's turning chain, and work a single crochet. This completes the 2nd row. Continue with the 3rd row. Work 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, corresponding to the first single crochet below. Then move on to the stitches on the left, working double crochets, 1 stitch for each stitch. Continue all the way down until the end of the row. This completes the 3rd row. Continue with the 4th row, work 1 chain as the beginning chain. Turn the work, pick up the double crochet stitches below, working 1 single crochet for each stitch. Continue all the way down until the end of the row. This completes the 4th row. Rows 5 and 6 are worked in the same method as rows 3 and 4. That concludes the explanation of the crocheting method for section 1. After completing section 1, don't cut the yarn. Now move on to the first row of section 2. Work 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Refer to the pattern. Start by picking up the stitches from the row below, and work the corresponding number of double crochets. There are fewer stitches here for simplicity. I'm just demonstrating the technique. After finishing, the next stitch is a cluster of 3 double crochets, and 1 treble crochet worked together, or DC3T or 1 cluster for short. The method is to first pick up the left stitch, and work 3 incomplete double crochets sequentially. Begin with the first one. Yarn over once. Yarn over the hook. Insert the hook into the left stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. That completes 1 incomplete double crochet. Work 1 incomplete double crochet on each of the next 2 stitches on the left. After completing those, work 1 incomplete treble crochet on the left stitch. This means you yarn over twice. Insert the hook into the stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this twice. That completes 1 incomplete treble crochet. Finally, yarn over once, and draw through. This completes the cluster of 3 double crochets and 1 treble crochet. After completing, leave the following stitches unworked for now. Now continue with the second row, make 1 beginning chain, turn the work. Slip the first stitch and work even with single crochets. This completes the second row. Continue to the third row, work 3 chains as beginning chain. Turn the work. First, pick up the stitches from the previous row, and work the corresponding number of double crochets. Keep working until there are 3 single crochet positions left on the left side. After completing, the next stitch is a DC3 tog. That is, start by working into the leftmost stitch. Work 3 incomplete double crochets in sequence. Then yarn over once, and pull through. This completes the DC3 tog. This finishes the third row. After completing the third row, move on to the fourth row, work 1 chain as beginning chain, turn the work, pick up the stitches from the previous row, and work even with single crochets. This completes the fourth row. Now let's work the fifth row. Make 3 chains as beginning chain, turn the work. Start by picking up the stitches on the left side, and work double crochets in sequence. Continue until you reach the position with 2 stitches remaining. Work a double crochet decrease at the end. That is, pick up the stitches on the left side, and work 2 incomplete double crochets in sequence. Then yarn over once, and pull through. This completes the double crochet decrease. Fasten off the yarn at the end, make 1 chain to secure. At the end, leave a 10 cm tail and cut the yarn. Now let's work the 6th row. Locate the cluster of 3 double crochets, and 1 treble crochet from the last stitch of the first row. Skip 7 stitches in section 1 below for the 6th row. Insert the hook into the next stitch. Get the yarn. Tie a loose knot. Insert the hook into the loop of the knot. Pull the yarn through. This way, the yarn is joined. Make 3 chains as beginning chain. This counts as an incomplete treble crochet. Work 3 incomplete double crochets on the left stitch. Place the yarn tail for joining above the hook and wrap it together while crocheting. Yarn over once more and pull through. This completes a special DC3T/1 cluster. Then pick up stitches 1 by 1 and work double crochets. Continue until the end of the row. This completes the 6th row. Next, let's work on the 7th row. Make 1 chain as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up 1 stitch below and work a single crochet. This completes the 7th row. Now, let's move on to the 8th row. Make 2 chains as beginning chain. Count these as an incomplete double crochet. Turn the work. Then pick up the next stitch on the left, and work 2 incomplete double crochets. Finally, yarn over once, and pull through all loops. This completes 1 special double crochet 3 stitches together. For the rest of the row, just work 1 double crochet for each stitch. Continue until you finish this row. This completes the 8th row. Next, let's work on the 9th row. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up stitches from the row below and work single crochets evenly. After completing the 9th row, let's move on to the 10th row. Make 2 chains as beginning chain. Turn the work. Start from the leftmost stitch and work double crochets evenly. This completes the 10th row. Next, let's work on the 11th row. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up stitches from the row below and work single crochets evenly. After completing, do not cut the yarn. Next, crochet a X-shaped group 1 cross pattern. Yarn over the hook 5 times. Insert the hook into the 6th row below. This special treble crochet will be worked together with the DC3 tog stitch. Yarn over again. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over, draw the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times. After completing, yarn over the hook 3 times. Insert the hook into the 2nd single crochet stitch on the left side of the joining spot in row 6 of section 2. That is, work it into the skipped stitch in row 6 of section 1. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, there will be 6 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 5 times. After completing, chain 4 as a transition. Pay attention that the chains shouldn't be too tight. To avoid an uneven piece, wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times again. Pick up these 2 strands at the crossing point below. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again, and draw the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 4 times. This completes 1 X-shaped group 1 cross pattern. Move on to chain 4 for transition. Mindful that the chains shouldn't be too tight. Then crochet 1 X-shaped group 2 cross pattern. Wrap the yarn around the hook 6 times. Skip 3 stitches from the 6th row below. Insert the hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and hook out. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, yarn over the hook twice. Insert into the DC3T or 1 cluster from the first row below. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times. Upon completion, there will be 6 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 5 times. After completing, chain 4 as a transition. Wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times. Pick up 2 strands from the crossing point below. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 4 times. This completes one X-shaped group 2 cross pattern. Then work even with single crochets on the stitches from the 5th row of section 2 on the left side. Place the yarn tail above the hook and wrap it in as you crochet. This completes row 11. Now let's work on row 12. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work over. Insert the hook under the stitches and work the corresponding number of double crochets. There are fewer stitches here in my example. I'll just demonstrate the technique. After completing, work a DC3TR1 cluster. That is, first work 3 incomplete double crochets in sequence. Then work 1 incomplete treble crochet. Yarn over once, and pull through all loops on the hook. Finally, skip 3 stitches without working them. This completes row 12. The crocheting method for rows 13 to 16 is similar to the method used for rows 2 to 5 of section 2. The only difference is the number of stitches. Follow the chart to crochet. I've already crocheted this part in advance. After completing row 16, break the yarn at the end. Pick up the new yarn to crochet row 17. Locate the first cross pattern 1 on row 11. Join the yarn on the 4th stitch, from the left side of it. Then follow the crocheting method for rows 6 to 10 of section 2. Refer to the chart and work the corresponding stitches. After completing row 21, don't cut the yarn. Now let's work on row 22. Make 1 beginning chain, turn the work over. Pick up the stitches from the bottom row and work single crochets, maintaining the same number of stitches. After completing, work 2 chains for transition. The next stitch is cross pattern 1. Yarn over 5 times. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch of row 17, this special DC3TR1 cluster. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again, draw the hook through the first 2 loops. Repeat this step twice. After completing, yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook into the stitch on the right side of cross pattern 1 below. Mind that you don't crochet into the chain stitch. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this step 3 times. After completing, there are still 6 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 5 times. After completing, crochet 4 chains for transition. Yarn over 3 times again. Pick up 2 strands from the crossing point below. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 4 times. This completes 1 cross pattern 1. Move on to crochet 4 chains for transition. Then work 1 X-shaped group 3 cross pattern. Yarn over 6 times with the hook. Insert into the stitch on the left of the previous cross pattern 1 below. Mindful, do not insert into the chain stitch. Yarn over again. Pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, yarn over 3 times. Insert into the stitch on the right of the cross pattern 2 below. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, there will be 6 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 5 times. Then crochet 4 chains for transition. Yarn over 3 times again. Pick up 2 strands from the intersection below. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 4 times. This completes 1 cross pattern 3. Next, chain 4 for transition. The next stitch is a cross pattern 2. Yarn over 6 times with the hook. Insert into the stitch on the left of the cross pattern 2 below. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. When completed, yarn over the hook twice. Insert into the DC3T or 1 cluster in the 12th row below. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 times. When finished, there will be 6 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 5 times. When completed, chain 4 as a transition. Yarn over the hook 3 more times. Pick up 2 strands from the crossing point below. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 4 times. This completes another crossing pattern 2. Then work 2 chains as a transition. Pick up the stitch from the 16th row on the left side, and work single crochets evenly. This completes row 22. This finishes section 2. Now let's move on to the first row of section 3. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. Pick up the single crochet stitch on the left side, and work the corresponding number of double crochets. Since I have fewer stitches here, I will skip working them. Work 1 double crochet increase next. That is, work 2 double crochets in the same position. This completes the double crochet increase. Next, work row 2. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the stitches from the row below and work single crochets evenly. This completes row 2. Continue with row 3. Work 3 chains as beginning chain. Turn the work. First, follow the chart to work the corresponding number of double crochets. For the last stitch, work 1 DC3 in 1. That is, work 3 double crochets in the same position. This completes the DC3 in 1. After completing row 3, next comes row 4. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the stitches from the row below and work single crochets evenly. After completing row 4, next, work on row 5. Make 3 chains as beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the stitches from the row below and work double crochets. Continue until there is 1 stitch left. Work 3 double crochets in the last stitch. After completing the 3 double crochets, work 1 treble crochet in the same position. The crochet method is to first work an incomplete treble crochet, then yarn over once, and pull through. This completes 1 treble crochet, then work 3 chains. That finishes row 5. Continue with row 6. Chain 1 as beginning chain. Turn the work. First, pick up 1 strand on the top of the chain and work 3 single crochets. Next, pick up the stitches on the left side, and work single crochets evenly. This completes row 6. The crochet method for rows 7 through 10 is as follows. It's following the same crochet method as rows 1 through 4. The only difference is the number of stitches. Just follow the chart to complete it. After finishing, don't cut the yarn. Enlarge the loop to prevent it from slipping. Take another color. Now let's work row 11. Find cross pattern 1 in section 2. Turn it to the wrong side. Join the yarn in the single crochet stitch on its left. Pay attention not to join it on the chain stitch. Make 3 chains to start. Work a double crochet at the joining position. Then work double crochets evenly into each stitch. That's how you complete row 11. For the remaining rows in section 3, just follow the chart for crocheting. When you encounter an edge double crochet on the right side, all are worked in the corresponding stitch of the turning chain. The insertion position is also marked on the chart. Just follow the diagram for crocheting. I've already crocheted this part in advance. Break the yarn at the end. Now let's work on the first row of section 4. Insert the hook into the enlarged loop from before. Adjust the loop size. Then work the first row. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. First, follow the chart to make double crochets. After completing, work 3 double crochets and 1 treble crochet into the leftmost stitch. Then chain 7. Next, move to the position of the 20th row on the left side. Pay attention not to twist the fabric piece. Pick up the last stitch and work 1 treble crochet and 3 double crochets. Afterwards, work double crochets evenly into each stitch. This completes the first row. That means it's connected properly. A lace pattern forms in the middle. Continue with the second row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. When you encounter a stitch, pick up the stitch and crochet. When you encounter a chain, pick up 1 strand on the top of the chain and crochet. Everyone follow the chart to complete this row. This completes the second row. For the remaining rows, just crochet according to the pattern of 1 row of double crochets and 1 row of single crochets. Everyone follow the chart to complete the corresponding rows. Compare as you crochet with your knitting notebook. Make it slightly more than 2 centimeters longer than the notebook. The number of rows can be adjusted. After completing the last row, you need to break the yarn. This concludes the crochet method for section 4. This concludes the main part. After completing the main part, next, let's talk about the eave. Join the yarn at the side of the main part, and work back and forth. You will need to change colors midway. After completing the eave, you need to slip stitch 1 row along the lace trim. The new stitches used include front post double crochet and front post half double crochet. Please watch the demonstration. Take out the main part. Everyone count the number of rows in the main part. We consider every 4 rows as one group. If the row count is exactly 1 less than a multiple of 4, Then for the first row of the Eave, crochet according to the pattern chart sequence. If the row count is not one less than a multiple of 4, then the total stitches of the first row of the Eave need to be crocheted into a multiple of 6 plus 1 stitch. Find the chain stitch corresponding to the starting standing stitch. Pick up its 2 strands for joining the yarn. Rotate the piece slightly, with the side position facing up. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet at the joining spot. We first follow the pattern chart sequence to work single crochets. Pick up the entire edge on the left, and work 2 single crochets into the starting chain. On the adjacent single crochet row, pick up a few strands along the edge and work 1 single crochet. Continue with the left double crochet row, picking up the entire edge of the starting chain, and working 2 single crochets. Work 1 single crochet on the adjacent single crochet row. You can see that every 2 rows produce 3 stitches. Everyone follow this pattern. And keep crocheting all the way down to finish this side. If the main piece row count is not a multiple of 4 minus 1 row, then the stitch count for the first row of the Eave needs adjustment. The adjustment method is to crochet 3 single crochets in the double crochet row. Still work 1 single crochet in the single crochet row. This will add 1 more stitch. Do not increase the stitches on adjacent rows, so that the stitch count can be slightly evened out. This is the adjustment method. That's it for the crocheting method of the first row. Everyone check the total stitch count. After completion, fasten off the yarn at the end. Next, let's crochet the second row. Take the yarn. Find the first stitch of the first row and insert the hook. Then join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet at the joining position. Afterwards, just pick up stitches, and work single crochets evenly without increasing, or decreasing. That completes the second row. Continue with the third row, make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work. Pick up the stitches from the bottom row, and work single crochets correspondingly. After completing the third row, let's move on to the fourth row. Make one beginning chain. Turn your work. First, crochet 3 single crochets in sequence. The next stitch is a front post double crochet. Yarn over the hook once. Work a double crochet into the fourth stitch of the first row from the bottom. Insert your hook from the right side of this single crochet. Bring it to front on the other side. Draw through with yarn over. Enlarge the loop slightly. Yarn over again, pull the hook back to the front through the last 2 loops. Repeat this process 2 times. This completes one front post double crochet. The height should be roughly even with the right side. You can see this stitch of the front post double crochet. It corresponds to the stitch that comes out below. For the rest of the front post double crochets in this row, when crocheting on the single crochets, insert your hook following this method. Continue and correspondingly make 5 single crochets starting from the left stitch. Be mindful not to crochet into the stitch corresponding to the front post double crochet. The next stitch is also a front post double crochet. Yarn over the hook once. Yarn over the hook once. It's about crocheting into the corresponding single crochet post from the first row. There are also 5 skipped stitches below. Insert your hook from the right side of this single crochet, come out on the left. Pull through. Enlarge the loop slightly. When crocheting the chain later, make sure to slightly adjust the length of the loops to ensure the fabric is flat and looks nice. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this twice. The front post double crochet is done. We will consider the last 6 stitches as one sequence. Then just repeat this sequence. Refer to the chart to complete this row. After completing the final sequence, finish with 3 single crochets. This completes the 4th row. Break the yarn. For the next 2 rows, please follow the demonstration of the 2nd and 3rd rows. Refer to the chart for crocheting. Now let's work on the 7th row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work. Work a front post double crochet into the first stitch of row 4. Then work 5 single crochets on the left side sequentially. For the next stitch, work a front post double crochet. It should go under the 4th row. The middle stitch of these 5 single crochets between the 2 front post double crochets. Following that, continue with 5 single crochets first. Then 1 front post double crochet, and repeat this pattern until the end of the row. This completes the 7th row. For the following rows, crochet according to the previous demonstrations. Follow the chart all the way to complete the 11th row. Pay attention to the color changes. Then for the 8th row, you'll need to join a new yarn and start crocheting. After completing it, move on to the 12th row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work. In this row, crochet into the back loops of the stitches from the previous row. That means picking up the loop that is farther away from you. There will still be 1 strand left at the beginning. Continue working single crochets in the back loops. Work all the way to the end of the row. Once completed, this completes the 12th row. Rotate the piece. For the 13th row, crochet into the front loops of the 11th row. Make 1 beginning chain. Pick up the front loops and work 2 slip stitches. The oval-shaped slip stitch indicates not to tighten. For this stitch pattern in the future, follow the same technique. Next, work 1 single crochet. 1 half double crochet. Then work 1 double crochet in the same position. Continue with 1 chain for transition. On the left side, work 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet. Work 1 single crochet on the adjacent stitch. We will consider the stitches from the first slip stitch to now, as one sequence. Let me demonstrate another sequence. On the left side, work 2 slip stitches. 1 single crochet. Work 1 half double crochet in the adjacent position and 1 double crochet. Then work 1 chain for transition. On the left side, work 1 double crochet and 1/2 double crochet. Work 1 single crochet on the adjacent stitch. Follow this demonstration and refer to the chart to complete this row. Work a slip stitch on the last stitch. This completes row 13. Fasten off the yarn at the end. Rotate the piece. Pick up the first stitch of row 12 to join the new yarn. Make 1 beginning chain. This chain corresponds to the first stitch below. The next stitch is a front post half double crochet. Place the hook on top of the piece. Pick the post of the single crochet on the left to work the stitch. Yarn over once. Insert the hook from the right side of this single crochet out from the left side. Work 1/2 double crochet. This completes 1 front post half double crochet. Continue with another front post half double crochet on the left. Insert the hook from the right side of the adjacent single crochet, come out on the left side, work 1/2 double crochet. This completes another front post half double crochet. Work 1 more front post half double crochet on the left. After completing, the next stitch is a back post half double crochet. Place the hook behind the piece. Bring it to the front on the other side of the single crochet on the left. Insert the hook from the left and work a half double crochet. Yarn over the hook once. This completes 1 back post half double crochet. The difference between a front post and back post half double crochet is that for the front post, the hook is placed in front of the piece. For the back post, the hook is placed behind the piece. Continue with another back post half double crochet on the left. You need to go from the wrong side to the right side of the fabric. Bring the hook to the front on the other side of the single crochet on the left. Insert the hook from the left and work a half double crochet. This completes another back post half double crochet. Continue with another back post half double crochet on the left. We will treat the last 6 stitches as one sequence. I'll demonstrate another sequence now. Start with 3 front post half double crochets on the left. Then work 3 back post half double crochets. This completes the second sequence. Continue working according to the second sequence. Work all the way down until you finish this row. This completes row 14. Now let's move on to row 15. Make one beginning chain. Turn your work. This chain stitch corresponds to the last stitch of the previous row. The next stitch on the chart is a back post half double crochet. Since the fabric piece has been turned, you need to work a front post half double crochet instead. Insert the hook into the right side of the back post half double crochet on the left. Bring it to the front on the left side. Work one half double crochet by picking up the entire stitch column. From the right side of the fabric, you can see the texture of the back post half double crochet. The stitch pattern on the chart shows the texture of the right side of the piece. When crocheting on the wrong side, you need to work the opposite stitch. Continue with one front post half double crochet on the left. The next stitch on the chart is a front post half double crochet. When crocheting on the wrong side, work a back post half double crochet instead. Place the hook behind the fabric piece. Draw through from the right side of this front post half double crochet. Insert from the left side. Work one half double crochet. This completes the back post half double crochet. From the front, it appears as the texture of a front post half double crochet. Continue with two more back post half double crochets on the left. Then work 3 front post half double crochets on the left. We can consider the last 6 stitches as one sequence. I will demonstrate another sequence. Start by working 3 back post half double crochets on the left. Then continue with 3 front post half double crochets. This completes the second sequence. The rest is done following the demonstration of the second sequence. Continue crocheting all the way to the end of the row. For the last stitch, use the front post half double crochet insertion method. Pick up the turning chain, and work 1 front post half double crochet. This completes row 15. You can follow the pattern chart for your crocheting. Alternatively, you can crochet based on the texture. On the right side, when you see a front post half double crochet, work a front post half double crochet. When you see a back post half double crochet, work a back post half double crochet. When crocheting on the wrong side, simply work the opposite stitch as shown in the chart. For the last stitch of each row, always pick up the turning chain from the previous row and crochet. Pay attention, as you need to change colors in the middle of the process. The first stitch at the color change point involves picking up both strands of the turning chain from the previous row and crocheting them together. Follow the chart to complete the remaining rows. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Then, take another piece of yarn. At the stitch insertion point on row 12, work a row of slip stitches. Lastly, fasten off the yarn. This completes the slip stitches. That concludes the eave. After completing the eave, we will move on to crocheting the border. The first border, the second border, the third border, and the lace border. Work them in order. Please watch the demonstration. Take the corresponding yarn for the first border. Locate the last row of the main piece. On the opposite side of the first row of the eave, join the yarn. Rotate the piece. Then work single crochets along the side. The number of single crochets should be the same as the first row of the eave. Finally, fasten off and weave in ends. That concludes the first border. Now take another yarn. Locate the last stitch of the last row of the eave. Join the yarn at this stitch. Make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet at the joining position. Crochet single crochets along the edge of each row on the eave. Correspondingly make one stitch for each row. When you encounter a front post double crochet, place the front post double crochet in front. And continue picking up stitches from the edge to crochet. Then move to the last row of the main part. And work single crochets evenly by picking up the required stitches. Do not work the stitch corresponding to the turning chain of the double crochet. Keep crocheting until just before the first edging. Now we've reached this position. Work 1 single crochet with SC3 and 1 on the first stitch. That is, work 3 single crochets in the same place. Rotate the piece. Pick up the stitches from the first edging, and work single crochets evenly. Continue crocheting until just before the last stitch. On the last stitch, work 1 SC3 and 1. Rotate the piece again. We've now reached the starting chain position of the main part. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain, and work single crochets in sequence. Do not crochet the corresponding chain for this double crochet. Now move to the eave side edge position. Pick up each row's side edge, and work 1 single crochet. After completing, make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the stitches from the previous row, and work slip stitches evenly. Once the slip stitch is completed, the braid closer to you is formed by the slip stitch. The one farther away is the single crochet stitch from the previous row. You can place a marker on the first stitch using the yarn. This helps differentiate between the single crochet stitches and the slip stitch braid. Do not cut the yarn after completing the last slip stitch. Proceed with the third round of edging. Make 1 beginning chain. Flip to the right side. The first stitch on the chart is a reverse single crochet. Insert the hook into the second to last stitch of the last row of the eave. Work 1 slip stitch. Rotate the hook and pull the yarn through. Then insert the hook into the position of the beginning chain, and work 1 single crochet. That completes 1 reverse single crochet stitch. Continue by inserting the hook into the adjacent stitch on the right and working 1 slip stitch. Then pick up 2 strands of yarn and work 1 single crochet. That completes the second reverse single crochet stitch. Insert the hook into the next stitch on the right to work the third reverse single crochet. Continue with the fourth one. Everyone, follow this method. Keep crocheting all the way to the position of the front post double crochet on the right side. Pay attention, skip 1 stitch every few stitches. Just crochet based on the pattern chart. If the fabric piece is not even, you can choose to skip more or fewer stitches. There's no specific requirement for the quantity, as long as it lays flat. Now we've reached this position. Pick up the second round of edging single crochet stitches on the right side, and work the reverse single crochet. Be mindful not to crochet into the chain formed by the slip stitch. Afterward, continue working reverse single crochets along the stitches. Keep going until you finish these 3 edges. Also, pay attention to skip 1 stitch every few stitches. Leave 1 stitch unworked. If the fabric piece is uneven, you can choose to skip more or fewer stitches. There's no specific requirement for the amount, as long as it lays flat. Everyone can crochet according to the chart. After completing the last stitch, leave a 10 cm tail at the ending. Insert it into the darning needle. Sew a few stitches with the first reverse single crochet. Secure it tightly so it doesn't come undone. Make sure to weave in more ends. That concludes the third round of edging. Now, move on to crocheting the lace border. Find the hole between section 2 and section 3. You can join the yarn from any position. Here, I'll join the yarn at the bottom left open space. Crochet 1 round of reverse single crochets, moving from left to right in rounds. Remember, the right side of the fabric should be facing you. When you encounter a stitch, pick it up and crochet. Note that the cross pattern should be placed after the reverse single crochet. When you reach the edge of each row, pick up the side edge and crochet. The quantity can be adjusted as needed. Just make sure the fabric piece stays flat. Finally, fasten off the yarn and sew together. Everyone, remember to hide all the yarn tails. That concludes the lace border tutorial.